This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my review of Master of Evil. And this is the latest Star Wars book about Darth Vader. And, well, I'd love to say it suffers from the Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader problem, where the author clearly wanted to write a different book and was just told to name it about Darth Vader. I really don't feel like that's the intention here. I feel like it was very much Darth Vader was put in here to get more people to read it, and that was very much used because Vader doesn't have too much in this story. It is mainly about this royal guard, and honestly, I could care less about him. The really only interesting stuff is the stuff that dealt with Vader, Apo, and sort of the Cyber Galactica stuff, although that was not as interesting. And the little you see from Vader is really good in this. Yes, it's a very, very cliche Darth Vader story in Star Wars canon now, where he's trying to find a way to bring Padme back from the dead. But honestly, I mean, the story, as I said, it was a pretty interesting one with Vader, him going and kind of confronting his past and him just becoming more loyal to the Sith and to his dark ways. It was honestly interesting. He does have some good interactions with Apo and the 501st. Even though this is one of the stupidest reveals that the 501st was disbanded after Order 66. And, I mean, that's exceptionally stupid because of the fact that the group is known as Vader's Fist, and due to the fact that here they don't know that Anakin is Vader, they just know Anakin was the only loyal Jedi to Palpatine, and that he disappeared shortly after the events of Order 66, with Apo believing that the Jedi killed him for betraying them. And he obviously doesn't know that Vader is Anakin, but yeah, I mean, being fully honest, I think that it was just the most interesting part to see Apo, who suffered a pretty serious injury in the Jedi Temple, although I don't remember specifically seeing that happen to him in the Order 66 scene that it was referencing. And it was just very much a. Well, it was very much interesting to just see him there. He is serving Vader and is very loyal to the Empire, and Vader is showing loyalty to at least the troopers. And I think that is in line with Vader. It was something I remember being mentioned in my read through of Legacy of the Force, where Jason is working with someone who is very much loyal to him because of how Vader treated his father, and it was very well because his father was a loyal soldier. And Vader, I think, at least respects the soldiers, and he hates the officers very much because they are arrogant and kind of full of it. But it seems that like the average stormtrooper, or more specifically clones, Vader has a very high regard for. And really, just going through, just kind of everything else of Vader. Yeah, some interesting stuff. He goes and fights an apparition of Anakin Skywalker, and he also goes and has an interesting vision of basically bizarro world Star Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan are Sith, but Anakin cuts down Obi-Wan, and he's talking about how Obi-Wan was supposed to destroy the Jedi and had joined them. That's a weird scene. I don't really know what they were trying to go with it. And I really like I think was it was basically like Bizarro World Star Wars, or very similar to the concept for Battlefront 3. I think it was 3 or 4. I think 3 was the one with the alternate universe where it was Jedi were Sith and Sith were Jedi. But it was very much just a kind of weird moment, but doesn't really ruin anything. Going to the who actually is the main storyline, which is about the Red Guard who is terminally ill. Like, just being fully honest, this guy, I mean, I knew he was dead, and in fact, he should have been killed very early on into the storyline. Once the fact that he heard the shaman call Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker, I just do not think there is any way that, besides literally the writer saying that he can't do it, that Vader wouldn't kill anyone that heard the name Anakin Skywalker and was able to associate it with him, because it very easily was a connection made by that Royal Guard, and I mean it was just it was just really world breaking for me, because there are things like when Boba Fett figures out that Luke's last name is Skywalker, Vader doesn't kill him, but that's mainly because Boba Fett can't make those connections. Yes, he has met Anakin Skywalker before, but he was just hired to either capture him, if not get the best information he can. And Vader also seemed to have some respect for Boba Fett, so that's another thing. But with this specifically, yeah, I think it is just just poor writing where this guy was just able to figure out so much. He literally managed to find droid footage of the reconstruction surgery of Darth Vader, and the story really they're telling doesn't support that he'd be able to find this, because it's made very clear that they've done everything possible to go and cover up Vader is Anakin Skywalker, and that everyone that was present at that operation, besides Palpatine, was killed. So it just feels like the author was, I want to have him figure these things out so he could be tempted with getting a suit like Vader and being able to live longer, but he really just doesn't care about the fact that it contradicts the rest of the stuff that he himself is writing. Like, this isn't even what other people wrote, which falls in line with those other things that he did write. But, I mean, write as in, like, writing, not as in correct. I don't know why, but I just feel like the way I said that just, did not make it clear which version of right I meant. But, yeah, I mean, his storyline, I mean, it just was not compelling. This guy basically screamed he's gonna die for the entire book, and it wasn't the fact that he has a terminal illness, it's the fact that he was learning way too much about Vader, which is an even more deadly terminal illness than the one that he has. And I mean, I just really did not care about him. He just really had nothing intriguing about him, and I mean, that's really all I could say about him. That he just felt like a story the author wanted to tell, and he knew that there's no way that anyone would buy a book about a Red Guard. Although if it was a well-written book and or something actually giving you an imperial perspective, I would totally go and want to read that. even if it was about a Red Guard. But he just said, I need to hijack a Darth Vader story for that, because fans would only want to read something about Darth Vader. And if you're going to be dedicated enough to read a Star Wars book, you're going to be willing to go and see a little more different stuff and have other characters just besides major characters to be sold to you. For example, X-Wing books, yeah, those are mainly about background characters at best in movies like Wedge Antilles and major roles and completely unique and original characters. And there are other beloved books. Like, personally, I didn't love Republic Commando too much, but still, it is one of my one of the more unique ones where it's not really about any major leading characters. There is so many other Star Wars books that are about characters that never have appeared in a Star Wars movie, or were more minor characters, or didn't have, like a full-on book dedicated to them. Although they would still be major characters, and they were still great books. Like I kind of think of it as like I, Jedi, where yeah, Corran Horn was basically the main character of the Rogue Squadron books, and he went and got his own book, and it was still really solid. People read it because they were interested in the story. Here, this is very much advertised as a Vader After Order 66 book, but really it's just about this Red Guard that, again, I feel like the character is fine. There's just really nothing to connect you to him, really nothing interesting, and basically it screams this guy is gonna die from basically the moment you meet him, and it's not even due to the fact that he has a terminal illness. But yeah, going through it, it also does kind of feel like a little bit of a mess of a storyline where it's dealing both with the Vader going and trying to control this Force Nexus that Count Dooku stole and hid away in hyperspace. And I mean, to introduce such a major concept as a hyperspace anchor and a bunch of other stuff like ways to pull yourself out of hyperspace that isn't a gravity well projector. It just feels like this revealed way too many major things that never get mentioned again. And it's pretty like major technologies. And there's just that entire story with the Sith Temple, but well, not really Sith Temple, but it's like a dark side nexus inside of a temple. And then on the other side, there's just a completely different story where it's people from one of the executives from Stybach Galactica, I think the people who made all the protocol droids, and they're just basically what their like second in command wants to go and steal all the technology from the Techno Union on this ship, and the plot lines they just feel so disconnected and like they were kind of forced together. It feels very much like, yeah, there's two different storylines, very different storylines. I mean, like, it's not like, I don't know, something like Stranger Things where they're both investigating issue from a different angle. This feels very much like two completely different storylines were just mashed together, and I mean, it just didn't work out that well. But yeah, I mean, I'd say that the tactical droid stuff was at least kind of interesting. Again, I had another one of those technology things that probably could have been lore breaking, where a super tactical droid was basically over to take over a person's mind that has cybernetic implants. And I feel like it's really nothing we've really seen before, and He's literally just controlling this guy's body as like a meat puppet, and the guy's trying to fight his way through. And they're literally pulling off the exact same storyline with the Red Guard's protocol droid, who has a special modification for him to upload other droid personalities. And I just mean that it was just kind of interesting, but it just felt so out of place, and like they wanted another antagonist and another storyline to tell. And I just feel like this could have been so much better if it was spread out between a few different books and wasn't all shoved into the same storyline, because it just felt like so much was going on that they couldn't have enough time to dedicate to any of these individual stories. Like honestly, I think like just a fully great concept for a book is Vader reforming the 501st to become his personal army, which is kind of hinted at in here, but it's probably one of the most minor stories of it. And I mean, it just really just again felt like it was all over the place. And not the worst book ever, but I just feel like this has some really good highs, but the lows in it are definitely low. And again, this book just feels like a giant mess. It has, again, some like incredible moments, mainly focused around both Vader and Apo. But besides that, it just feels like kind of like a jumbled mess of a bunch of different storylines, and I just don't think this author did a great job. But yeah, honestly, just really going through it, that's all I really have to say about it. I wonder what you think. Have you read this yet? I got through it pretty quickly, and I don't know, it felt more like a chore to get through than other books. I also, like, about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, finished Labyrinth of Evil, and incredible book. You'll see more about that book most likely next week, maybe the week after, because next week's Thanksgiving, but I had a great time with that, and I was always eager to get through more of it, because the story was really intriguing and very much felt like everything built off of each other. This, again, it just felt like a bunch of random stuff, storylines that the author wanted to tell us shoved together with not great explanations of ways to connect it. But again, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.